If you've been anywhere near crypto lately, you've felt the tremor. Pi network is trending again, and this time it isn't about mining rates or app updates. A growing slice of the community is rallying around a bold idea called the Global Consensus Value, GCV, pinning Pi's internal exchange rate to a headline-grabbing number: $314,159 per Pi. Yes, it's audacious. Yes, it's symbolic. And yes, it's creating a wave of excitement and skepticism as Pi inches toward open mainnet. In this video, I'll break down what GCV really is, why $314,159 matters, how this bottom-up pricing experiment impacts real users and merchants, and what needs to happen next if Pi wants staying power once it hits external markets. At its core, GCV is a community-set price, an agreement among users and merchants to value Pi at a specific rate for goods and services inside the enclosed ecosystem. Unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum, which float on public exchanges, Pi has spent its development life in an enclosed mainnet without an official market price. That vacuum is exactly where GCV steps in. It builds a stable internal economy first, so pioneers can transact without the chaos of early exchange speculation. The number itself, 314,159, isn't random. It's a deliberate nod to Pi, 3.14159, branding the currency with its own mathematical DNA. More than a meme, it's a unifying story for pricing, identity, and community action. What makes this moment different is utility. As more merchants adopt the GCV, the marketplace shifts from micro trades to meaningful commerce. Phones, laptops, travel packages, vehicle down payments, creative services, these are already being quoted in fractions of Pi based on that consensus rate. That changes psychology. Instead of asking, "What will Pi be worth in dollars one day?" users ask, "What can I buy with Pi today?" For longtime miners who passed KYC and migrated balances, that mindset unlocks real purchasing power. A designer charging a fraction of a Pi for a logo or a cafe accepting tiny decimals for a latte isn't speculation. It's velocity, the lifeblood of any currency. The upside, if this holds, is enormous. A widely honored GCV can create price stability inside the ecosystem, making Pi attractive for everyday transactions and drawing in developers who want predictable economics for apps, payments, and digital marketplaces. That virtuous cycle, more utility right-pointing arrow, more demand right-pointing arrow, stronger adherence to the consensus, could turn Pi into a case study for community-defined value in Web3. For users in underserved markets, a functioning P2P economy with stable pricing could be genuinely empowering. But let's keep it grounded. The GCV lives inside a bubble until open mainnet. Once Pi lists externally, public markets won't care about symbolism, they'll care about liquidity, supply, and demand. If many pioneers rush to sell, market price could diverge sharply from $314,159, and any internal pricing that ignores external reality will face pressure. True consensus is also hard. Not every user or merchant will agree to the same rate, and undercutting is inevitable if incentives aren't aligned. Finally, regulators may scrutinize any perception of pre-market price setting, so the narrative around GCV must remain clear. It is a voluntary internal benchmark for trade, not a guaranteed external price. So what actually moves Pi forward from here? Inside the enclosed mainnet, the most important work is real commerce. More KYC completions and migrations, more merchants adopting Pi payments at the agreed rate, more app builders shipping useful products in the Pi browser. Every successful transaction that honors the internal price tightens consensus and builds a data trail of utility-backed value. In parallel, the core team's job is scalability, security, and developer tooling so the network can handle surges in transactions when the doors open. The stronger the economy is at home, the more resilient Pi will be when it meets the volatility of global exchanges. If you're a pioneer, treat this moment like a rehearsal for open mainnet. Use Pi with merchants who honor the GCV, support builders bringing real services on-chain, and, if you're a business owner, consider accepting Pi at a rate that makes sense for your margins. If you're watching from the sidelines, your checklist is simple. Track KYC rollout, active merchants, daily transacting users, and app activity. Those metrics will tell you whether GCV is more than a slogan. The bottom line. Pi's $314.159 GCV is a bold social contract, part branding masterstroke, part economic experiment. If the community can keep growing real utility while maintaining a credible internal price, Pi enters open mainnet with momentum and a user base trained to transact, not just speculate. If it can't, external markets will set the story for it. Either way, the next chapter won't be written by hype alone. It will be written by use, trust, and adoption at scale. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, subscribe with the bell on, and tell me in the comments. Do you think a community-defined price can hold once Pi hits public exchanges, or will market forces rewrite the script? Let's keep this factual, respectful, and focused on what really matters: utility, users, and outcomes.